2019, so you all know what that means. Time for another top 10 list. Well, if you couldn't read below, we're doing the top 10 best, and it feels good doing this because, in case you guys don't know, this is my 100th video. Woo! Yep, I started this a little under 2 years ago, and I hope to continue doing this. And just as a reminder, guys, I do read all the comments, and I do appreciate all the feedback, both positive and negative. Even those who don't know that brown shirts were actually used in Italy, not Germany. I know the difference between brown shirts and black shirts. Please do your Wikipedia search properly next time. Hashtag not salty. But no, that's for the next lists. And yeah, if the 100th video is going to be fun, the 101st and 2nd is going to be god-awful. And there goes happiness. But when I look back at this list of all the good movies I saw over 2018, it was really tough, guys. Number 1, 2, and 3 were constantly flipping around. 4 and 5 were duking it out. And I had 10 movies left over to try to fit into 5 slots. And even that, there were still some decent movies that honestly could have made this list, and a lot of people would want to make this list. Like, for example, Black Panther would not be on this list because honestly, it was an average Marvel film that a lot of people blew out of proportion, but it was still, an average Marvel film, which makes it a decent movie. Black Klansman was a really good movie, but I never shot a review on it, so I don't feel right giving it on this list. Same with A House with a Clock in the Walls. All really good movies, just, didn't make the cut for one reason or another. And there's even more on that. Like, I got Quiet Place, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Mary Poppins, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Incredibles 2. All really, really good movies, but they just couldn't make it. To help narrow you guys down to what the list might be. But might as well start at the bottom, even though really it's at the top of its, franchise, I would say. Bumblebee. That's right, the best Transformers film that's not with the word Transformer in its title. What can I say, guys? This film was really enjoyable. I was smiling ear to ear. I go into Transformers films wanting them to be good and leave usually upset, mad, and hoping that Michael Bay gets shit with a hot poker up his keister. Seriously, man, you have issues. And that's coming from the guy who just said that. But Bumblebee was really good and enjoyable. The soundtrack was great. The overall atmosphere was really good. The characters were great. The humans were actually enjoyable and not crappy Sam Witwicky. And there was no applied pedophilia. Seriously, what is wrong with you guys? Oh, just watch my old review if you want to know my real hatred for Michael Bay. But here, I'm happy, like no joke. I can go from serious madness just to happy because I hope the next film is this good. It gives me hope for the future of Transformers. I thought I would never say in my life. But it happened. It was enjoyable, and I hope it continues to be good. And with the subject continuing to be good, another film, I would say the entire franchise I thought was going to be bad until I saw the first one, and my God, is it amazing. So its sequels should very representatively get on this list, just because it was a very good sequel, not only to the movie, but to one set long ago. Number 9, Creed 2. Yeah, it's not just the sequel to Creed, it's the sequel to Rocky 4. All these plot lines come together, we see our characters meet. Ivan Drago and his son Dimitri are actually enjoyable in this movie. They have good chemistry. You can clearly tell Dimitri, even though he's stoic and has really no emotion if you think about it, he truly has one, setting. He wants to make his dad proud. He wants him to regain the honor he lost. He doesn't feel connection to Russia like Ivan does because all he cares about is his dad. He wants his dad to, get the recognition he once had that Rocky defeated. Which I would say sounds crazy, but we're dealing with Russia, which, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that actually did happen. You lose once and suddenly, shame on you. Shame for life. But the fights are really good, and I think this is a good setting for Adonis to take the role as lead. They've had Rocky be the primary in the first one, and they've toned him back. So I feel the best one is to tone him back in the third one, or sadly, maybe kill him off. Because his story has been completed, and Adonis can, carry on and become the champion and let his legacy continue. And I think that would be a nice setting, is just him sitting down with, at Rocky's grave with the chair and the paper and just telling him like it is. That would be kind of heartwarming and sad, depending on the way they shoot it and, the actor. But then it's Michael B. Jordan. He's done an amazing job, so I can't expect him to do anything less now. But yeah, Creed 2. It's really good. Now we move on to number 8. Another one I never thought would have made this list when I originally read it was going to be released. Aquaman. Yeah, you've seen my reviews. I've had no love for DC for a while, sans Wonder Woman. Like I said, Man of Steel was a hot piece of garbage. Batman v Superman can rot in hell. I was really kind of Suicide Squad in hindsight, but I still actually did kind of enjoy it. And I can see the faults in it, and people have made good claims as to why it's bad. And I acknowledge that, but still, it was enjoyable. Wonder Woman was freaking amazing. Justice League was... It was alright. I mean, they got the characters right, but they have a crappy villain. It's like you would have Infinity War if you took out Thanos and replaced him with garbage. Yeah, and then the red gradient's still a thing. And that's what makes Aquaman stand out. They have more colors besides gray. It's bright, it's colorful. The blues really, I've never seen so many shades of blue in my life. Go figure here. But Khal Drogo plays a really good Aquaman. I know it's Jason Momoa, but to me, I just see Khal Drogo. Kind of want Aquaman to kind of invade Westeros here to see what his Kraken can do against the White Walkers, because I think that'd be really, really cool. But that's just really fanboyism at that point. But Aquaman was really enjoyable. I know a lot of people are, down because Aquaman can summon whales! Whales, guys! That's all he can do, right? He controls 2/3 of the freaking planet. He has the strongest military on the planet. He has some of the strongest mages on the planet. And his physical strength and prowess is strong enough to punch Superman. So you'll forgive me if I say Aquaman's kind of powerful and you need to shut up. Granted, if you watch Super Friends Aquaman, I can't defend that one. But this one's actually really good. The fight scenes, once again, are really great. Since they're on the water, they do 360-degree combat, which you normally only see in airplane films or space battles. So watching this was actually really good. He's moving around, and then eventually it comes to, two-dimensional battle because they're on the land. And it really stands out that Aquaman is of the land and the sea because he's able to fight well in both terrains. And yeah, it's a really good coming-of-age story. I would almost say better than Black Panther, just in the sense that, well, it's not following directly from The Lion King. But yeah, that's basically it. And honestly, this thing has brought DC back, and I really feel if they make Shazam good, they have a strong contender to go toe-to-toe with Marvel again, even though Marvel's been blowing it out of the water with literally, like I said, Ant-Man's not on this list, but that was still freaking amazing. But yeah, I think it's going to be good, and I actually look forward to Shazam, and I hope that Captain Marvel movie does really well. That's right, Shazam's called Captain Marvel. That's the only Captain Marvel there is, and we're keeping it to it. Now, this one I wasn't going to go see until a family member wanted to go see it, and I said I would go with them to see it. And I'm happy I did, because this is possibly one of the best slice-of-life comedies I've seen in a long time. And I actually have a soft spot for good slice of life. I've enjoyed movies like My Neighbor Totoro, Wolf's Children, and even stuff like Weatherman I've enjoyed. Yeah, if you don't know that one, look it up. It's an old rated R film, but really enjoyable. But slice of life, if done right, can actually be really good. And this one does a really good job of showing what happens when you adopt a group of kids that, you think you're not ready for. And throughout the movie, they grow closer as a family. You laugh, you cry. There's some really good emotional moments. And honestly, there's some cringe moments, but they're natural cringe, like trying to put the kids to bed for the first time. It makes sense as to why they're acting up. And just everybody's reaction to, oh yeah, you got the good kids. You're in what's called the honeymoon phase. As a teacher, I know all about the honeymoon phase. It lasts for about 2 weeks, and then it becomes hell on earth. Well, not really hell on earth, but it can be hell on earth. But yeah, Instant Family. I'm happy I saw it, and it makes a strong number 7. Which leads us to number 6. This one, the series has been running really great, and most people have this as the number 1 on their list, and I can understand why. But I want to break the norm, and quite frankly, while I did massively enjoy this film, I wouldn't say it's my personal favorite or what I truly feel is the best. From an overall standpoint of a movie, yeah, it's really good. It's got good action, good thrills. But it doesn't exactly have the same moral or the same connection that some of the other films have. And that, of course, being Mission Impossible Fallout. Still infinitely better than Fallout 76, but this one basically takes that whole genre into a new light, with the whole another reveal, another combat. But they try to tie in it to some old movies, to the old ones from the franchise. There's not really a lot of stuff going on in terms of clever twists that you don't see coming. But still, it's enjoyable. You're on the edge of your seat for the majority of it. Everything's shot so well, and there's not awful shaky cam. It's, well, an enjoyable ride that actually is good from start till finish. And there's some issue with the plot, once again, that doesn't seem that, drastically thought out, and really you can take a lot of this stuff out and it would actually not make that much sense, or, well, not take that much away, I should say. But, yeah, for what it is, it's still a really good movie, and I'm glad I saw it. Both that and Instant Family are, pretty close to each other. The only reason Mission Impossible beat that was because, once again, I'm more inclined to action films than I am slice of life. So it happens. Which, yeah, top 5, guys, and this one was a tough spot for number 4, but it snuck back down to number 5 because the other one was just that little bit better. You know what's going to be on this list, Infinity War. I was really critical of that movie when I reviewed it, mostly because I was trying to find some error in it because I knew it was just going to be amazing. So I had to find the smallest little bit and rip it apart, which isn't a little bit, mind you. It is basically whenever they're in Wakanda, besides the battle for Wakanda, which is really the battle for Earth, but, it's happening in Wakanda, so you kind of take the name of it. And Black Panther still has about as much tactical sense as Sun Tzu's Art of War if you read it upside down and backwards. But that's just me nitpicking from years of strategy games. Still, it was enjoyable, especially whenever you were dealing with all the other characters. The Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Tony, Spider-Man. Some of the most impactful scenes near the end, I know people have memed to death, but still it's really powerful, and this is one of the few films where the heroes don't win. You could say the protagonist wins in the sense that the protagonist, you would say, would be Thanos, because he's the primary person everyone's acting upon him, but that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, Infinity War makes me happy, and I'm actually looking forward to the next Marvel movie, Endgame. Yeah, I know, I'm harping on Captain Marvel, and some people have said I'm being too hard on a movie that hasn't come out yet. And it could be completely good. I want it to be good. I love Miss Marvel. Not a fan of this one, because they seem to be borrowing from the new version, but that's taste. And taste is what put this above Infinity War. Number 4. 40 years in the making, and you know what? We finally got a good spiritual successor to the original, Halloween, which is the sequel to Halloween from, 1978. Yeah, the babysitter slasher film, which retcons everything we've known, and it starts the whole new one, which I'd be okay with if we wait another 40 years for another movie as good as this. Yeah, I'll still be making these reviews when I'm 40 years from now, at the age of 68, just go, that's a very good horror film. Because it is. I'm happy I saw it. It was really enjoyable. It was a good slasher film. And we haven't had a good slasher film in so long. Even Scream 4, which was honestly one of the last true slasher films I've seen, besides maybe Happy Death Day, actually had the atmosphere right, the tension right. And just the characters, even though some of them you would say are stereotypes that, you're gonna die, John. He did die because he was that stereotype, and it plays out the way you think it is. But they have enough awareness, I think, that actually elevates it to another level. It's one thing to actually, do the cliches, another thing to make fun of it and actually still do it in a proper manner that you get a double laugh out of it. And that's the thing, I was kind of laughing throughout the movie, but when it was time to be serious and, have, the fingers clenching into your seat, there was a lot of those good moments. Happy I saw it. Strong sequel and a strong spiritual successor. So I can't wait for the next string of movies that take place after this one, and then 40 years later we get the actual sequel. To complete the trilogy, 80 years in the making. Yeah, I don't think Laura's going to be alive for that one. But, what are you going to do? And now... Oh boy, this was tough, guys. The top 3 were constantly going back and forth with each other. It was tough. But after watching most of these films multiple times, at least 3 times in 2 of them, I had to do this. Number 3, Deadpool 2. Reason why it's not higher on the list? Go watch my review as to why it's freaking amazing. I'm not going to sum that one up in short detail. Great comedy, great action, good plot. Ryan Reynolds is still freaking amazing. Reason why it's not higher on the list? Simple. The first one was better. When you set the bar this high that it's off the freaking camera, then this comes in and is right around here. Still a really good movie, still really freaking good, but when it's like above and beyond, you can't really say it's, that great of a movie. Because here's the thing, I would still watch Deadpool 1 before Deadpool 2 if someone put a gun to my head and say choose. Which to me doesn't really earn you the number 1 or 2 slot. Now, if there was nothing else this year that would actually hold its candle to it, then fine. I would definitely put it at number 1. But these 2 films are freaking amazing. I rewrote this dang list 5 times switching these 2 back and forth and had to rewatch both of them 3 times. One not so much legally, one of them wasn't so much legally for one viewing. But still, take what you can. Thank you, YouTube, for wonderful video clips to make this easier for me to look back on. But yeah, number 2, guys. Ready Player One. I send up to everything that, well, I love. I love nostalgia. I love old references. I love showing the respect to things gone beyond and respect to gamers. That scene at the end where the kid doesn't want to give up the chance to win everything because he's playing adventure and he's enjoying it. He's playing the game. And that's what a gamer does. You don't ruin it. You don't hate on other people for gaming. You sit back and enjoy it. You relish in it. Which I feel in this new media and everything has just gone so bad. It takes all the fun out of doing this stuff, you know? Even doing video reviews like this, people will say, oh, you're not as good as this. Oh, you're not as good as that. Just enjoy it for what you can. And that's to all of you, too. If you enjoy something, do it. As long as it's not hurting anybody. Live your life the way you can. You only get one life, man. Unlike in this movie where you technically get a second one if you're actually good, but it's really enjoyable. And the message it has is so powerful and potent that I wish it was number 1. I had it at number 1 for so long. And then this movie beat it. I'm sorry, but thinking back, I still listen to the soundtrack. I still think of the movie. I know dang well. After 3 viewings within the span of a month, I still want to see it again. That's saying something. Number 1, you know it at this point if you've been watching my reviews, especially for December. Into the Spider-Verse. Miles Morales, you are amazing. Seriously. In a realm where we deal with a lot of forced diversity within comics and movies, Miles is the perfect example of how you would do that right. Yes, he's an African American, and yes, he is Hispanic. But that's not his character. He's more than that. He's young, he's naive, but he has a good heart. He wants to do right by the world, but is scared to fail. He's the honest, everyday kid that all kids should see. He rises up and overcomes everything. And it's not just him who learns a lesson. 4 out of the other 5 Spider people learn something by the end. The only reason Spider-Ham doesn't because he's a Looney Tune. Take what you can. But Penny learns that she's not alone and can learn to accept the grief of everything that has happened. Noir Spider-Man learns to, feel his emotions again. Even if it's a little thing, because that mention of him locking it away, he releases it. Gwen learns to have friends again and that she can trust and get past the pain of loss. Peter learns that he can grow up basically and face the hardships of life as an adult and overcome his fears of basically being a father to some regard. Kind of the same plot from Smurfs too, but man. But it's not just that, the visuals, the action, the soundtrack. This film is amazing. The only weakest link is Fisk, but at that point you don't care. You get his motivation, you get why he's doing it. You don't need to make him that too much, even villain backstory song. You get enough out of him that you want to see him fail, but you understand why he's doing it. You understand the way he is and how the world works. And just that scene with Stan Lee, man, it's amazing. And before I sign off and before I, get ready to shoot the top 10 worst, God help me, Stan Lee, help me please. He really was great. And we lost a great man in 2018. He was the heart of Marvel, in my opinion. And instead of my usual sign-off, I want to say this. One of his sayings was, it doesn't matter who you are, anyone can wear the mask, anyone can wear the cape. You are the chooser of your own destiny. It doesn't matter where you came from, what you've done, or what's happened. Everyone can change, start a new leaf, and move on and advance in this world and become greatness. And I truly feel everybody can. Even the horrible people you might think, everyone technically has room to grow, and this film demonstrates that. It's that demonstration that puts it at number 1. It's why I'm happy for this movie, and I'm ready for more sequels. I'm ready for the spin-offs. I want more, and that's the one thing that I want from all these movies, and this is the one that gives the most of it. So, Spider-Verse, congratulations. Miles, you've done an amazing job, man, and I hope you've earned that title, Spider-Man, and you wear it pride. And for all of you who give him crud because you just keep calling him Black Spider-Man, shut up, you're wrong. Anyway, guys, here's to 2019, and here's to 2 really bad videos coming up. God help me. See you guys soon. Later.